Evaං maccu taro siya. Evaං lokaං avekkantaං maccu raja na passati. Friends, this is one of the utterances of the Buddha. We can understand the meaning later. Today is the second day of our retreat. I am very happy to see you all practicing very well. From this morning you practiced. This is how we Buddhists practice the Dhamma. We observe precepts, then we sit and practice meditation, concentration, serenity. Then we can switch to insight. So this is what is called Sila, Samadhi and Panya. This is the way, this is the path for the attainment of enlightenment. So whenever we practice, the key is mindfulness. The watchword, key word in the teaching of the Buddha is mindfulness. It is to be understood. It is to be practiced. It is to be developed, cultivated. So to practice this, we have to understand clearly what mindfulness is. So tonight our topic is mindfulness. I want to begin with an anecdote, a simple story. In the time of the Buddha, there was a Brahmin ascetic named Bodily. He had 500 students. Of them all, there were 16 skillful, prominent, eminent students. He used to make sacrifices to propitiate God, the Creator. One day he went to the sacrificial altar and offered many things to the Creator, the God. And then when he came back to his kuti, his room, there was another guest ascetic with matted hair, reddish teeth, and dust all over his body. He asked 500 gold coins from this ascetic. When asked, the ascetic Bhavari said, "No, I have no that much. I have no such money. No 500 coins, gold coins." When he said this, the guest ascetic said, "Well, if you don't give me when I ask, may your head split into 7 within 7 days." He cursed him. That is the curse. With this, the ascetic Bhavari became scared. He was scared, and he started to shiver, tremble. So then, because he thought that it would definitely happen within 7 days, his head might split into 7. That is how the ascetics, rishis, they can bless as well as they can curse. So he thought that this would definitely happen. Within 7 days he might die, splitting of the head. Then when he was thinking about this, one of his relatives in his previous lives came as a deity, and he said, "Don't worry, don't think of too much of that. He himself does not know what the head is. He himself does not know what the splitting of the head is. Therefore, this will not happen. Don't worry. Don't be afraid of it." Then he asked, "Then who knows it?" He said, the deity said, "The Buddha knows this. Buddha knows what the head is. Buddha knows what the splitting of the head is. Then he asked where the Buddha is now. He said Buddha is in the north. There is a particular monastery named Savatthi in which the Buddha is dwelling there. So better you go there and meet the Buddha, ask this question. What the head is, what the splitting. As the Barbari, the Brahmin was very old, 120 years old. He can't go that far. So what he did, he asked his students, 16 students, to go and meet the Buddha. When he asked this to the students, they asked, how should we understand Buddha? How should we recognize the Buddha? Then he said, why don't you know that there are some marks, there are 32 marks of the Buddha, which we come across in our books. So when you go there, you can see the Buddha, you can understand the Buddha through these marks, 32 marks of the Buddha. And whenever you see the Buddha, the teacher said, you better ask questions mentally, not verbally. When you go to the Buddha, ask the questions mentally. What are the questions to ask? First, ask who is our teacher. Then Buddha will answer you. How old is he? How many students he has? Like that, ask questions about me, the teacher said. Then these students, they went to see the Buddha. When they went to see the Buddha, they asked these questions. They asked, who is our teacher? Mentally, they asked mentally. Then the Buddha said, your teacher is Barbari. Then they asked, how old is he? 120 years old. How many students he has? 500. Like that. Buddha gave answers. The people see that nobody is there to ask questions. But the Buddha gives answers. So, however, at the end of this, the Buddha, the students of them, these students, 16 students, they all asked different questions. Buddha gave answers to all these questions, and they all became the disciples of the Buddha. Of this group, there was one particular student named Mogharaja. He asked the question, he asked Bhante, how should one see the world so that one is not to be seen by the Mara? That means, in other words, how should one see the world so that one is not going to die? That was the question. Then the Buddha replied with the stanza which I recited at the beginning of this talk. Let's understand what the Buddha said. This is very relevant to this topic. Buddha said, Sunyato lokang avekkassu mogharaja sada sato attanu ditting uhacca evang machu taro siya evang lokang avekkantang machu raja napassati. This is in Pali. Buddha said, Sunyato lokang avekkassu mogharaja sada sato. Mogharaja was the name of that student. Buddha said, Mogharaja. Sada sato, be mindful all the time. Sada sato, all the time. Always be mindful. Mindfulness is the topic today. So, sada sato, be mindful all the time. Sunyato lokang avekkassu, and see the world as empty. This is how you have to see the world. Be mindful and see the world as empty. Empty, when you say empty, what is empty? With what it is empty? Empty with what? Empty with soul, self. There is no soul, no self. it's empty with that. When you see things are impermanent, unsatisfactory, soulless, that is what is called emptiness. You don't see anything permanent there. It's empty. No substance, no particular thing, entity, but activities. So the Buddha said, see the world as empty. Sada sato. Sunyato lokang avekkansu moga raja sada sato. Then the further Buddha said, attanu ditting uhaccha. Attanu ditti. What is attanu ditti? That is the view of self, view of Atman, view of soul. What is to be done for that? Buddha said, attanu ditting uhaccha. Uproot it. Uproot the attanu ditti, the view. Self view is to be uprooted. Uproot it. Attanu ditting uhaccha. Evang machu tarosya. In such a way, you go beyond Mara. You can go beyond Mara. Evang machu tarosya. Evang lokang avekkantang machu raja napassati. The one who sees the world in this manner will never see Mara, will never die. That's the meaning. So friends, here the Buddha's instruction is very clear. Buddha said, be mindful all the time. Can we all be mindful all the time? That can be practiced only by arahants, all the time. Constant, unremitting mindfulness is practiced by arahants. But we also can practice mindfulness. That is how we practice Buddhism. The Buddha said, practice mindfulness, develop mindfulness, cultivate mindfulness. That can be done. That is why Buddha said this. Again, of the group of the students, another student named Ajita, he asked another question. He asked, Savanti sabbadi sota sotanang king nivaranang sotanang sangvarang brusi kena sota pithiyare. He asked, Savanti sabbadi sota. Bhante, streams are flowing all over. Streams. What are the streams? Streams of craving. Craving all over. Streams. There are only 6 streams in the world. Stream through the eye, through the nose, through the ear, through tongue, body, mind. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. 6 streams. These are called craving, streams of craving. These are the streams flowing. So savanti sabbadi, sabbadi means all over. Sabbadi sota, the streams are flowing all over. Savanti sabbadi sota. Sotanang kin nivaranang. Bhante, how should one control, how should one control these streams? Sotanang kin nivarana. Sotanang sangvaram brusi. Bhante, please tell me how to control this sota. Kena sota pithiyare. Bhante, how should one completely stop these streams? Dried out these streams. How? He asked. The Buddha said, Yani sotani lokasming satite sang nivaranang sotanang sangvarang brumi panya ete pitheyare. Yani sotani lokasmin. Whatever sota, whatever streams in the world, Sati tesang nivaranang. All those are to be controlled, to be restrained through sati, mindfulness. So, to control these senses, how to control these senses, how to control these streams of craving, it is through mindfulness. Buddha said, Sati tesang nivarana. Then the Buddha said, I will teach you how to do this. And further, Buddha said, in order to completely stop this, how to stop this? He asked the question, how to stop? Buddha said, Panya ete pithiyare. These streams are to be completely stopped through panya, wisdom. So wisdom is to be developed. What is wisdom? That is insight. So we have to practice both serenity and insight. That is the teaching of the Buddha. That is the meditation of the Buddha. Buddha taught this meditation, this tandem meditation, which is called serenity and insight. Hand in hand, go together. Serenity and insight, serenity and insight. That's the way. So friends, this is how we have to understand the significance of mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness. Mindful does not mean that it is full. Your mind is not full with many different garbage. If you put many things into your mind, mind is full and dull both. Mind is dull then. Mind is to be emptied, clear, clean, purified mind. So mindful means, actually there are different terms for mindfulness. The Buddha used the term, Pali term, only 4 letters in English. S-A-T-I. Sati. Sati. S-A-T-I. Sati. Sati is the Pali term for mindfulness. But the term mindfulness does not give the real meaning of sati. In order to give the real meaning, we have to use different terms in English, such as attention, awareness, earnestness, alertness, watchfulness, vigilance, all these terms, all these are encompassed. So, when we practice mindfulness, mindfulness means living in the present moment. You know what is going on now, right now. We cannot be mindful in the past or the future. Only in the present moment. If we develop mindfulness in the present moment, then we can see true. We can understand things as they really are. That is what the Buddha realized. And that is what the Buddha practiced, developed. He taught us. So mindfulness is to be understood clearly that it is to be developed here in the present moment. Mindfulness has 2 levels, 2 types of mindfulness. Mindfulness of memory and mindfulness of power. Mindfulness of memory means you can remember many things. If you can remember many things, many previous lives even, you can remember many. There are some people, they can remember many things, like Venerable Ananda, for instance. Venerable Ananda was the treasurer of Dhamma. He remembered many discourses, thousands, millions discourses. Thousands of discourses, or if not millions, thousands. He remembered all these discourses. That is the memory through which you cannot attain enlightenment. Through memory you cannot attain enlightenment. Mindfulness of power means mindfulness in the present moment. That is the mindfulness. That is the mindfulness that we have to develop. mindfulness is not a word, not a concept. It is the action even before a concept. We conceptualize and then we verbalize. So mindfulness means not the verb, not the word. It's not yet come to word. It's not yet come to the concept as well. So not the conceptualization or not the verbalization. It is the beginning of your action, the mind giving attention. So give attention, that is mindfulness. Awareness, you are aware of what is going on. You are alert. You are alert what's going on. That's mindfulness. So that is how we have to understand mindfulness. So this mindfulness is an innate quality in all of us. We have this as an inborn ability. We all have mindfulness. But it is to be developed, it is to be cultivated. Buddha very clearly said, practice, develop mindfulness. Cultivate this mindfulness. Buddha has given us some similes. There are many similes in the discourses for mindfulness. Buddha once said, mindfulness is like a stick to the bull, the cow. Stick. Suppose there is a paddy field. The crops is growing nicely. Somebody wants to take a cow across the paddy field. There's a path, footpath. So the cow, he wants to take the cow across the paddy field. Now when the cow is going through, it's natural that it eats either this side or this side. It eats. So what the person has to do, he has to keep the stick on the back, or he has to poke, hit this side all the time. With that he has to control the cow. Just like that, we always have to be mindful in the present moment. So it's like the stick that the person uses to the cow. Another example was given like the bowl full of oil. Suppose like the bowl of the begging bowl of the monks, any bowl, which is full to the brim. So with oil. The Buddha said, suppose a singer, a dancer, girl is going to come to a certain place. People are aware of this, and then they flock there. They come, many people come there to see this girl, beautiful girl, like a beauty queen. People come to see her, to listen to her, and to see her dancing. When the people flock there, the Buddha said, suppose a person wants to give a sort of punishment to another person. He asked the person to take the bowl full of oil and go through this crowd without dropping a drop. If drop a drop, even your head is off. There's a person behind you with a sword. So then that person should be mindful not to spill a drop of oil. So in such a way, one has to practice mindfulness. Be mindful all the time. That is how we have to practice mindfulness. And again, the Buddha gave a simile of the watchful driver. The watchful driver, always he should be aware. He should be mindful. He should be mindful to be aware of the driver in front, the driver back, the left, right, and his own car. He has to drive four cars, being mindful, like that, watchful driver. So in this manner, the Buddha gave several similes to understand mindfulness. Friends, the purpose of mindfulness is to understand things as they are. When we develop mindfulness, we can see things as they are. In order to develop mindfulness, Buddha taught us a method, that is meditation. So when practice meditation, Buddha said, practice one thing. Practice one thing means practice mindfulness of breathing. So to practice mindfulness of breathing, as I said yesterday, Buddha taught a special discourse named Mahasatipatthana Sutta. Mahasatipatthana is the great discourse on establishments of mindfulness, where the Buddha taught us 4 steps of mindfulness. Mindfulness of breathing. 4 steps of mindfulness of breathing. Tonight, we want to study another discourse, that is Anapanasati Sutta, where the Buddha gave 16 steps of breath. When practice these 16 steps of breath, we can develop our mindfulness. Let's understand this sutta, how the Buddha taught us to practice mindfulness of breath. This discourse, the name of this discourse is Mindfulness of Breathing, Anapanasati. Ana means breathing in, apana means breathing out. This is very relevant as we all practice mindfulness of breathing. We all want to understand this so that we can practice. So friends, now the Buddha said, in this sutta, Buddha delivered this sutta, this discourse, when the Buddha was dwelling at the place called Migara Mata's palace. Migara Mata was a name for Visakha. Visakha was the chief benefactress of the Buddha. She was called Migara's Mata. Migara was her father-in-law. Her father-in-law was a stingy man. He was not a Buddhist. He was not practicing Dhamma. He did not know how to practice. So Visakha taught him how to practice Buddhism. As he was taught, he considered his own daughter-in-law as the mother. As she taught Dhamma, as she taught how to practice Buddhism, she was considered as the mother. Therefore, people started to call her Migara's Mata, not the daughter-in-law, but the Mata, the mother. So Migara Mata, the Visakha, built a monastery which was with 1,000 rooms, 500 rooms the downstairs, 500 rooms upstairs. That's how she built the monastery for the Sangha, Buddha and the Sangha. This was in Savatthi, in front of Jetwana Rama. So when the Buddha once lived there together with monks, that was a full moon day. There on that particular day, particular night, so the monks, all great monks of the Sasana, like Venerable Maha Moggallana, Maha Sariputta, Maha Kassapa, Maha Chunda, Maha Kappina, Revata, Ananda, Anuruddha, Rahula, they all were there on that particular day, as it was the full moon day. Full moon night, of course. The Buddha saw the monks. They were sitting outside groups of 10, 20, 30, 40 monks. So the senior monks were teaching the junior monks. Having seen this, the Buddha said, I am content. This scene, I am content of this way. This is the way that the monks should behave. So Buddha being happy. Buddha said, in this Sangha, in this community, there is no prattle, no chatter, no idle chatter. They are practicing Dhamma. They are teaching the Dhamma. Some senior monks are teaching, junior monks are learning. So this is the way. Then the Buddha said, in this community of Sangha, there are some monks, they are practicing, they have practiced, developed, cultivated their mind, and they have completely cut off 10 fetters and attained enlightenment. There in this community, there are monks, they are enlightened ones. Those who have completely cut off 10 fetters. In this community of Sangha, there are monks, those who have cut off the first 5 fetters and attained the state of non-returner, anagami. Then said, among these monks, there are some monks, they have cut off the first 3 fetters and attenuated this next 2 and as once returners, sakadagami. And then said, in this community there are monks, those who have cut off the first 3 fetters and attained the state of stream entry. And then further said, there are monks here among this group, there are monks who are practicing the 4 establishments of mindfulness. There are some monks here, they are practicing the 4 right efforts. There are some, they are practicing 4 roads to power. There are some here, they are practicing 5 spiritual faculties. There are some, they practice 5 mental powers. There are some monks here in this community, they are practicing, developing 7 factors of enlightenment. There are some monks here, they are practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. And here there are some monks, they are practicing love and friendliness. Here among this group, there are some monks, they are practicing compassion, karuna, compassion. Then there are some monks here, they are practicing appreciative joy, mudita. And then here there are some monks, they are practicing equanimity. Equanimity is upekha. And here there are some monks, they are practicing repulsiveness of body. There are some monks here, they are practicing impermanence. And finally the Buddha said, there are some monks here, they are practicing mindfulness of breathing. Then the Buddha said, monks, when mindfulness of breathing is developed and cultivated, it fulfills the 4 establishments of mindfulness. When the 4 establishments of mindfulness are developed and cultivated, they fulfill 7 factors of enlightenment. When the 7 factors of enlightenment are developed and cultivated, they fulfill right knowledge and right liberation. Then the Buddha explained how to practice mindfulness of breathing, where the Buddha gave the 16 steps. Let's now understand the 16 steps. How to practice mindfulness of breathing. That is how to develop mindfulness. So mindfulness, in order to practice mindfulness, in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Buddha said, try to find a congenial place first. The Buddha recommended 3 places. Go to a woods, go to a foot of a tree, go to an empty house. Those are the congenial places, suitable places to practice mindfulness of breathing. Then the Buddha said, sit cross-legged, keep the body straight, and give attention to the front of your face, and be aware of your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Mindfully breathing in, mindfully breathing out. Sattova assa sati, sattova passa sati. That is the first thing to be done. This is the preparatory things to be done when we practice mindfulness of breathing. Then when we are practicing, we can understand at a time we take a lone breath. When we take lone breath, we have to be aware, we have to be mindful to understand lone breath as lone breath. If we are not mindful, we cannot understand that lone breath. So the Buddha said, understand lone breath as lone breath. Digang va assa santo, digang asasamiti pajanat. Digang va passa santo. If we take a lone breath, then we exhale the lone breath. Passa santo. So lone breath in, lone breath out. That is how we become mindful to understand the breath. Then there is short breath. So the first step is lone breath in, lone breath out. Then the second step is short breath in, short breath out. Rassang va assa santo, rassang va passa santo. Rassang va assa santo, rassang assa samiti pajanati. The Buddha said pajanati. Know it well. Diga and rasa both are to be understood well. Pajanati. Then the third one, sabba kaya patti sangvedi. These Pali terms are to be understood clearly, then we can understand better. Sabba kaya patti sangvedi. Sabba means all. Kaya means body, whole body, all body. What is this body? It's the breath body. We have 2 bodies, this body and the breath body. So the breath body is to be understood. We are observing our breath body, not this body, but breath body. Sabba kaya, whole body. Whole body means from beginning to the end. Whole breath. Sabba kaya patti. Patti means contact. Sangvedi, when it contacts, Sangvedi, be sensitive. Sangvedi means sensitive. Be sensitive. Understand it clearly. Be sensitive. Sabba kaya patti sangvedi. Assa sissamiti sikkati. Breathing in. Passa sissamiti sikkati. Sikkati. Here the word used is sikkati. Sikkati to train. Now you have to train. Train your mind. Observing your breath, you are training your mind. That's the meaning. Then the fourth step is passang bhayang kaya sankaram. Passang bhayam means calm in breath body. You can understand your breath is calm in your breath body. Breathing in, breathing out. Then you can come to a state of tranquility. When you come to this point, even you can understand calmness of your body, calmness of your breath, where you can come to a state of tranquility, calmness, serenity. Then these are the 4 steps. Then the 5th one, Buddha said, when you practice the same thing, what is the same thing? Mindfulness of breathing. So today somebody asked the question whether we should stop mindfulness of breathing, practicing, when we experience different stages. No such things. They said practice mindfulness, mindfulness of breathing. This is called Arya Vasa, noble living. Mindfulness of breathing is practiced by noble ones. All noble ones practice this. The stream enterers, once returners, non-returners, Arahants, the Buddhas, they all practice mindfulness of breathing. So, the Buddha said, when you practice mindfulness of breathing, you can experience rapture. Piti pati samvedi. Piti is rapture. That is the fifth step. Piti arises there. When you practice mindfulness of breathing, you can experience piti, rapture. Piti pati samvedi. Assa sissamiti sikkati, passa sissamiti sikkati. Breathing in, breathing out, you experience rapture. Then the sixth one, sukha pati samvedi. Sukha is happiness. You experience happiness. Breathing in, breathing out, experiencing happiness. Then you can understand chitta sankhara pati samvedi. Chitta sankhara. What is chitta? Mind. Sankhara, formations. So there are two formations, bodily formations and mental formations. What are the bodily formations? Bodily formation means breath. Mental formation means thoughts. So now at this point you can understand your thoughts. Chitta sankhara pati samvedi. You have chitta, your mind is always thinking, thoughts. There are many thoughts in your mind. You can then understand, by this time you can understand properly your thoughts. That is what is said, chitta sankhara pati samvedi. Be sensitive of this. And understand, practice mindfulness of breathing in, breathing out. Chitta sankhara pati samvedi. Then passang bhayang chitta sankharam. Then you can understand passam bhayang chitta sankharam. Calm in your thoughts. Calm in your thoughts. That is the eighth one, eighth factor. So then the Buddha said, chitta pati samvedi. Then you can understand that there is chitta, not thought. Thoughts are now stopped. Thoughts are calming. Now you can understand your mind properly. Chitta pati samvedi. Chitta is mind. Chitta pati samvedi. Having understood, being sensitive to your chitta, mind, practice mindfulness of breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. You know your chitta now. Then there arises gladdening in your mind. Gladdening. Abhippamodayang chittang. Abhippamodayang chittang. Gladden in your mind. Abhippamodayang chittang. Assa sissamiti sikkati. Passa sissamiti sikkati. Gladden in your mind. You understand and observe your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Then next is samadahang chittang. Calm in your mind. Samadahang. Come to the state of tranquility, concentration. Concentration. Samadahang chittang. Samadhi. Come to the state of samadhi. This is a deep samadhi. By this time it's a deep samadhi. It comes to the samadhi. Then vimochang chittang. Vimochang means release. Release from what? Release from all five hindrances. As the result of removing all five hindrances, your mind, your concentration is the deep concentration there. You are released, completely released from five hindrances. No more five hindrances after that. Again, the same thing to practice. What is that? Mindfulness of breathing. Mindfulness of breathing is to be practiced all the way, all the way. So that's the 12th factor. Then the 13th factor is aniccanupassi assa sissameti sikkati, aniccanupassi passa sissameti sikkati. Since you have deep concentration, now you are mindful, you have developed your concentration and wisdom. Since you have wisdom, you can see true. You can see true means you can understand things as they are. You can understand the change in nature of your object. That is what is called anicca, impermanent nature. Anicca. Aniccanupassi assa sissameti sikkati, aniccanupassi passa sissameti sikkati. You see impermanent, the nature of impermanence, and you observe breath, breathing in, breathing out. Then viraganupassi, viraga is dispassion. You can understand dispassion, and then you observe breath, breathing in, breathing out. Then nirodhanupassi, nirodha is cessation, cessation of dukkha, cessation of defilements. And finally, relinquishment, patti nissagganupassi. The 16th one is patti nissagganupassi, complete relinquishment of all defilements. In such a way, Buddha taught us to practice mindfulness. Friends, when we practice mindfulness of breathing, it is connected with the 4 establishments of mindfulness. Buddha showed this in different discourses, like this particular discourse named Anapanasati Sutta, and there are some other discourses like in the Sangyukta, the connected discourses, you find a discourse named Ananda Sutta, Kimbila Sutta. In these discourses, Buddha showed us that relationship between the 4 establishments of mindfulness and the establishments of mindfulness of breath. So when we practice mindfulness of breath, Buddha said, you are practicing at the same time. You are doing one thing, then you are practicing developing 4 things. So when we develop mindfulness of breathing, the first 4, which are called tetrads, the first 4, when we practice first 4 of mindfulness of breathing, we are practicing the first establishments of mindfulness. You know, there are 4 establishments of mindfulness. Of the 4, the first one is mindfulness of body as body. You observe body as body. So the first 4, when you practice the first 4 of these 16, the first 4, you are practicing, developing mindfulness of body as body. You establish mindfulness of body as body. Then when you go to the second 4, second tetrad, where you are practicing mindfulness of breathing, at the same time, simultaneously, you are practicing, developing the second establishment of mindfulness. What is the second establishment of mindfulness? Establishments of mindfulness of feelings as feelings. Then when you go to the third tetrad, you are practicing mindfulness of breathing. Simultaneously, you are practicing, developing the third establishment of mindfulness. What is the third establishment of mindfulness? That is the establishment of mindfulness of mind. Then when you come to the fourth tetrad, you are practicing, developing mindfulness of breathing. Simultaneously, you are practicing, establishing the mindfulness of mental object. That is how the Buddha showed us the connection of these 2 suttas. So friends, this is how we have to practice, develop mindfulness. In order to practice, develop mindfulness, in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Buddha gave many different methods, like to practice postures. As I said this afternoon, we have only 4 postures. Whatever we do, wherever we go, we have only 4 postures. 4 postures are, whenever we go somewhere, let's go in. That is one posture. Go in. Walking is the posture. Then we stand somewhere. Wherever we stand, whatever the way that we are standing, we are standing. That is the posture. Then the third one, we sit. Wherever we sit, however we sit in, that's our sitting posture. Then whenever we lie down, that's the posture. So those are the 4 postures. The Buddha's instruction is, give attention to your posture. Understand your posture and be aware, be mindful of your postures. When you lie down, when you go to bed, be mindful. When you sit, be mindful. Understand, be aware of how you are sitting. When you walk, understand how you walk. When you stand, understand how you stand. So these are called 4 postures. In these 4 postures, we have to be mindful. The Buddha said, practice mindfulness in such a way. Develop mindfulness in such a way. And then the Buddha gave a list of things how to practice mindfulness in daily life. In daily life, whenever we go forward, Buddha said, be mindful, understand clearly. Then whenever you come back, be mindful, understand clearly. Abhikkante patikkante sampajanakari hoti. Then alokite vilokite sampajanakari hoti. Whenever you look at this way, that way, be mindful. Understand clearly. You see, the mindfulness and clear comprehension, both these should go together. Mindfulness means you are aware, you are attentive. Clear comprehension means you know clearly. You know clearly things as they are. In order to understand this, we have to have mindfulness. So mindfulness and clear comprehension both should go together. Then only wisdom arises. Then only insight arises. So mindfulness, clear comprehension, and wisdom. All these 3 should go together. Then only we can understand things as they really are. So the Buddha said, when you go forward, when you come back, when you look this way, that way, be mindful. And whenever you wear your clothing, whatever ornaments, be mindful. Understand what you are doing. Whenever you eat, be mindful. Whenever you bite something, be mindful. Whenever you drink, be mindful. Whenever you swallow it, be mindful. Whenever you taste it, be mindful. Like that. Whenever you use any tool, be mindful. See, that is how we apply Buddhism. That is how we apply Buddhism in daily life. If we are mindful, we are practicing Buddhism. That's the way. That is meditation. So then the Buddha further said, whatever you do, even when you go to washroom, when you use washroom, be mindful. See how the Buddha explained how to be mindful. And again the Buddha classified this man into 32 parts. Then said, give attention to different parts and be mindful and understand their own nature, their real nature. Different parts of the body, the head hairs, body hairs, nail, teeth, skin, flesh. sinews, bone marrow, kidneys, like that. 32 parts of the body. We have to understand these 32 parts. Giving attention, that is meditation. That is how we develop, how we arouse mindfulness and how we develop mindfulness. That is meditation. Mindfulness means simply meditation. So, then the Buddha said, observe your body and understand 4 elements: earth, water, fire, air. These are the 4 elements in this body. All matter, whatever you call matter, is composed of these 4. So we have to understand these 4. Within first. We always have to understand things within first. That is the teaching of the Buddha. Then the Buddha said, observe, understand the corpses, dead bodies. In the time of the Buddha, when the people died, the corpses were taken to the charnel ground, the graveyards, and they just threw them off. Then the Buddha said to his disciples, Buddha said, go and observe this. Understand, be mindful. Compare this with your own life. That's another way to be mindful. So then the Buddha said, be mindful of your feelings. Whatever feelings. There are different feelings in this body. Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, painful feeling, or neutral feeling. Give attention, be mindful. All these are to be observed objectively. Then only we can be mindful of that. Objective, seeing things objectively. If we grasp as mind, then there is no mindfulness. To grasp things as mind, with that we are not mindful. Since we are not mindful, we cling to things as mind. That is why we have to observe things objectively. So then the Buddha said, understand your own mind. Be mindful of your mind. How you do, what you do. What is the nature of your mind at this moment? At this moment, whether it is lustful mind, whether it is hateful mind, whether it is deluded mind, whether it is developed mind, whether it is concentrated mind, whether it is distracted mind, contracted mind, like that, understand the nature of mind. Be mindful of your mind. Then the Buddha said, be mindful of the mental objects. There are mental objects. When you practice the first 3 establishments of mindfulness, you can understand your own hindrances. Then you can understand how hindrances arise. Then how they fade away. Thereafter you can understand, since you are mindful, you can understand that they will never come again. Then you can understand the 5 aggregates, form aggregates, because of your mindfulness. You can understand this form aggregates, what you call form. It's just like a form, F-O-A-M form. F-O-R-M form is like F-O-A-M form. Bubbles, nothing permanent. Buddha said, Pena pindu pamang rupang. This rupa, this form is like a form, a lump of form. Then understand your feelings. The Buddha said, feelings are like a bubble. Vedana bubbulupama. Bubble, bubble. Bubble, bubble. Like bubble, like bubble. Vedana bubbulupama. Bubbula is bubble. Vedana, it arises it's like this, breaks. It's not permanent. Vedana is not permanent. It's impermanent. We have to wait. We have to observe our Vedana, feeling, sensation. We have to observe. Then we can understand that it's not permanent. It arises, fading and disappearing. Vedana bubbulupama. Then marichikupama sanya, the perception. Perception. Because of mindfulness, we can see the perception as mirage. No permanent thing. Just like mirage. Marichikupama sanya. Then sankhara kadalupama. Sankhara means formations. Formations are like the trunk of a banana tree. You cut the banana tree and then layers and layers you remove to find a core. Is there a core of a banana tree? No, no core. Just like that. Formations, volitional formations. There is no core, no permanent thing. All these are impermanent. Then sankhara kadalupa vinyan mayupamacha vinyanang. Vinyana is the consciousness. Consciousness is like magicians. There are 6 magicians here. They show their magics. 6 magicians. So 6 magicians means 6 types of consciousness. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. So all these, we all can understand this because of mindfulness. Therefore, the Buddha's kind admonition for all of us is to develop mindfulness, cultivate mindfulness, so that we all can understand, we all can realize this Dhamma. Therefore, friends, let's understand the significance of this wonderful Dhamma, which is unparalleled. It's unique Dhamma. Let's understand this wonderful Dhamma taught, rediscovered by the Buddha and taught by the Buddha for all of us. And practice this Dhamma in our daily life so that we can live happily, peacefully in this society. And one day we can attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. May we all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.